All right, I want to welcome Fabian Meisel
Maisel, yeah.
to the show from Cisco. So let's talk a little bit. At first, just why don't you describe what you do at Cisco? Give people a
Sure,
sense of your worldview.
sure. So I lead marketing for industrial security solutions at Cisco. I have a global role. I came to Cisco through the acquisition of Centrio a few years ago,
Okay.
which Centrio acquired to become more present in the OT security market space. So I've been in this industry for a few years now, and I lead our marketing efforts globally. Yeah.
Awesome. And where's home for you?
Pardon?
Where is home for you?
So I'm based in France. Centrio was a French company, and Cisco acquired it, and
Yeah.
I've been there ever since. I've been here ever since. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the S4 conference, and let's jump right to one thing that I know people want to know is what is going on in each of your prime rooms. So spill the beans. What's going on in Cisco's prime room?
So there's a lot happening in our room. We have great demos. We also have a lot of experts that will be who will be delivering presentations all over the 3 days. So we have a full program of presentations about how to deploy OT security at scale, how to build the SOC of the future, how to build a secure manufacturing shop floor. We also have sessions on utilities. So we have a lot of great presentations happening, and we also have a lot of fun activities. Cisco and Splunk are both sponsors of the McLaren F1 team. So we actually brought our F1 race simulator, so people can enjoy the driving and test their driving skills.
Okay.
Because Splunk is actually, Splunk is a Cisco company now, and they're helping McLaren to collect a lot of data, a lot of telemetry from the engines, from the cars. So they're showing how they are doing this here and how it can also apply to industrial settings and collect data from machines. So people will be able to enjoy the driving a F1 simulator, and we'll have a leaderboard. So every day we'll give away swags and prizes for the best drivers. Yeah.
That's an exciting piece of operating technology, a race car. We think about all the applications for
It's harsh
operating
environment.
technology.
Yeah, it's very harsh environments. Yeah. It has to be at speed also. So
Right.
it's, absolutely.
Vibration, speed, heat.
Exactly.
You got everything going on.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. That's very cool. How do people find out what sort of, you've got those speakers. Is there a published schedule for sort of who's in those sessions?
A great question, yes. So I think they're all on the WOVA app, so people can see on the Prime Sponsors room. But we also have a website. If you go to cisco.com/go/S4X25, you'll see the full program. So cisco.com/go/S4X25.
Okay, that's awesome. I'm glad this came up because now people can find that out and make sure they come and hear the right speaker. Okay, super. Let's also talk about the theme for this year. Create the future for ICS or OT security. That's a loaded question. There's a lot of things that could be unpacked there. What's Cisco doing? What do you think's sort of future focus that you guys are doing?
Right. I think the OT security market is at a crossroad right now. It's really at a turning point where most industrial organizations have deployed their IDMZ. So we have the basis set now. Some have tested and started to deploy visibility solutions to understand what's happening below the IDMZ. But what we're seeing now is that a lot of these organizations are struggling to deploy at scale. And also, they don't really know what to do with the data. It's basically what are they going to do beyond just visibility. And in parallel, we are seeing a lot of requirements for more software in OT. Some organizations are testing virtual PLCs. Some want to virtualize control systems, to reduce the OpEx in their shop, in their sites. Some want to collect data also to fuel their AI engine. So there's really a need for more seamless communications between IT, OT, and cloud resources. So there's really more than just visibility and the IDMZ that everybody is just starting to understand well now. So we're actually seeing three types of main solutions that are going to happen and that we're working very hard on. The one is to build a SOC that can really see the global picture and not just the OT data that's happening, but how do you collect? How do you see the small events that might be coming from emails, from phishing attempts? How do you collect all the telemetry from both your OT environment, but also from the IT environment, so you can see more events and collect correlate all this data to detect faster all these advanced threats that are happening.
Yeah, correlation's a big one, because any one of those you might look at by yourself might not say something, but the combination of things could say a lot.
Exactly, and most threats actually come from the IT domains, from emails, from phishing attempts.
Yep.
So you need to basically have the global picture and not just look at your OT data. So the SOC needs to basically unify all this data, regardless of whether the SOC is dedicated to the OT or more a converged SOC. I guess most organizations will probably build a dedicated SOC for the OT environment, for the industrial environments. But in any case, you need to see at all the telemetry that's out there. That's what we're doing with Splunk. Splunk is it's the best SIEM on the platform, the best SIEM platform on the market. It's ingesting all this data. We are populating it with a lot of telemetry from the OT environment with our CyberVision product that is getting all this information to the Splunk platform. So basically, there's a lot happening also in how do you manage all these events, how do you correlate all these events, how do you do a better work at detecting threats and leveraging your existing IT environment or your existing IT security tools to remediate those threats. So that's one thing, basically building the SOC of the future that unifies IT and OT telemetry to better protect the environment.
Yeah.
The second thing that we are seeing also is that to detect threat is great, but first I guess you need to protect the environment. So there's a lot of work to do with segmenting the industrial network, and network segmentation in the industrial environment has always been a huge struggle because there are so many assets. People are afraid of disrupting production. So there must be a way to do a better job at segmenting the industrial network and containing threat, to limit the blast radius if there's an attack. The issue is that right now most people are segmenting the industrial network using zone-based firewalls, which works fine, but it's really a static approach to segmentation, and it can be quite complex and costly and time-consuming to deploy. So what we're doing at Cisco is basically leveraging more software-based segmentation, using either firewall management or using a network access controller. We have a great product called the Identity Services Engine, which basically enforces segmentation policies right within the switches and routers that you have in the environment. And we've built a completely seamless workflow between CyberVision, which basically gains visibility of the environment, profiles all the OT assets, and where the control engineers will build zones to document their 62443 zones and conduits. So basically, we have a tool for the control engineers to organize their assets within the environment and build those zones. And this information is automatically shared with our firewall management center or with the Identity Services Engine for IT just to have just to apply the policies that will be automatically enforced through firewalls or through the network. So it's basically simplifying the whole workflow of what those groups should be, what those zones and conduits should be, and how do I build and enforce the policies to make it happen. So we're moving from an approach which is very static that could take months to implement.
Manual.
And very manual.
Yeah.
Exactly, to an approach that is completely automated, where the control engineers have the tools that they understand and to build their zones, and IT has the tools that they already know and love to basically enforce those policies, and it's completely automated, it's completely dynamic, so if you modify a group in CyberVision, then the policy automatically changes, and the networks automatically informed, and the segmentation changes. So we're streamlining all this segmentation process to help industrial organizations better protect their their environments.
It also speaks to the big issue of not enough people. And so solutions or approaches that require more and more people, manual approaches, going to all the, and updating everything frequently, that sort of thing speaks to being able to do more with the people maybe you already have versus hiring more, which is a problem.
No, you're totally right. And also to adapt to the changes in the industrial processes. If you want to reconfigure a production line, if you want to reconfigure a site, you don't want to spend months to rewire everything in your zone-based firewall. So
you're addressing more than just security there, because that's efficiency for business. Not just cybersecurity results, but better business.
Yeah, it provides more agility for the teams to build their industrial processes. It also helps to quarantine devices if an asset has been compromised. You just move it from a group to another in CyberVision, and then the policy changes. So everything is very efficient. It's working very well, but it has to come with great visibility, because you need basically to have a very comprehensive and detailed inventory of all your assets for that whole automated workflow to work. And that's the third thing we're working on at Cisco, is basically making sure you can gain visibility at scale without having to deploy appliances everywhere. Our visibility sensor, the CyberVision component, the component of the CyberVision platform that provides that visibility, is built into our switches and routers. So you basically don't have anything to deploy. You just activate the feature, and it immediately starts collecting data, running deep packet inspection to understand what all these assets are, profile them, and then build that comprehensive asset inventory without having to deploy span networks to collect all this data, or without having to deploy these dedicated appliances that some other solutions might have. And that solves the main issue that most industrial organizations have right now, is how do you profile assets, and how do you inventory all your assets at the lower levels of the Purdue model?
Very challenging.
It's very challenging because it's very costly, and most assets just communicate east-west. They don't communicate north-south. So how do you collect their network traffic to profile them?
In a safe way too, not interrogating everything that's on the network.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to scan the network. You want to be very cautious about how do you discover these assets. You don't want to deploy appliances everywhere in the network, because it's going to be too costly, and maybe the operations team will push back.
They might.
So you have to find a smarter way to collect this information. And for us, Cisco, because we own the network, Cisco is the largest vendor of industrial switches and routers. We own over 30% of the industrial network market. So we have a pretty large footprint in every industrial organization here, and can help them just almost overnight collect data and start inventorying their assets. And if you don't have a Cisco network, it's okay. We have also solutions like most other vendors have, to be able to collect all this information and inventory your assets, even if you don't have a Cisco network.
Off like span ports, or off of network taps, or?
Yeah, we can do both. We have also we can also do span, like most solutions on the market are doing today. We can also have dedicated appliances to install next to where your switches and routers are, with a short one-hop span network to collect data from these switches. We also have software solutions that you can install in any compute that you have in the environment already. So it's very flexible. All these architectures can be mixed. But of course, if you have Cisco networks already, the magic happens where it's basically, nothing to deploy. You just push a button and that's it.
Yeah, yeah. Any vertical? All verticals? Is there a weighting to oil and gas or to manufacturing or diverse?
Yeah, we are completely across the board. Cisco has expert sellers and partners across all verticals. Obviously, the manufacturing vertical is the largest one because there are so many number of factories out there. But we're also very strong with utilities, also with roadway operators, DOTs that are struggling right now to understand how to secure these street cabinets, their roadside cabinets that they have on their infrastructure as they're moving to intelligent transportation systems. So this is also a growth opportunity here.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Fabian, for coming on the show and talking
Thank you very
about
much, Derek.
Cisco. And I'm looking forward to stopping by your prime room.
Sure, you're welcome.
I'm sure everybody else will want to come by.
We have a happy hour receptions tomorrow on Tuesday.
All right.
So starting 4 p.m., come to the Fort Brook room and we'll be happy to.
Awesome. And you said you have a full-size race car. We all can. No,
well,
wait,
it's
no,
nice.
wait, that's not what you said.
It's not full size. It's a simulator, but it's a pretty realistic.
I want to see that. That's awesome. All right.
Thank you,
thanks
Derek.
again. Yeah.
Have a great show.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.